Hello and welcome. Right, now this is the bit where we're recapping on what we've done. Now we have been busy. We have harvested almost all of our fields and also cultivated quite a lot of them as well. We've harvested field 27 of peas, field 28 of peas, and we've finished the pea harvest on this one. Now, we've done a lot of testing on this session where we've shown how bad it is if you use the pea harvester yourself, how badly you really have got to work with the workers and like think about where they empty out, because it's caught me out a couple of times where you had no choice but to intercede and then you get damage the crop. Not an awful lot, but it's still nobody wants to damage crops. So yeah, definitely done quite a bit of testing. We have so far, we've not finished, so we've left that last one, so I want to courseplay that next one as a comparison. So we've got 36,500 litres of peas in the entire session, which yes, I think that's quite good. Yeah, obviously, so we're going to be more peas this time to see, well, I mean, because it is a very lucrative business. It's a little bit time consuming, and also the header, although wider than the wheels or the tracks, it's not wider than the wheels and the tracks. The way that Giants have done it, it's not quite right at the minute. Now it's the beginning of the game. It may well get changed, but right now the pea harvester is a little bit not quite right. But yes, so we've done 27, 28, 32. As you can see, I've nearly cultivated most of the field with a beautiful new Dalbo. A gorgeous bit of kit. Definitely one of my absolute favourites cultivator at present that I found. I do like this pendulum type where they like, and also this one is one where you could go around the corners due to the way that it's designed. You really could. It's not, wouldn't care if you twisted. Whereas a lot of them, where the tines are sort of not round like this, with the cutter wheels, this one is one you could go around corners with. Whereas a lot of them, when they've got tines, you really, if you go severely, you risk damaging the tines because it's not really supposed to be used like that. Whereas this is, I mean, it's a bit funny when you're cutting in. There's a lot more lifting and getting into position with it. But apart from that, it is really a thing of beauty. So yeah, that's it really. I'm trying to make these little sessions as just wanted to home in that it's not as cut and dry as we just harvested the fields. We did a lot of testing where the insights I personally think are worth listening to the advice and also showing you. I did stop the time lapse to home in on the damage done, which you can see quite clearly with the wheels. And the other thing is you can't always see the damage that you're doing, but this you plainly can. So yeah, the pea harvest is not quite right, not the minute. But yeah, hope you enjoy the rest of the session. So, you know, for years I've been saying hello and welcome at the beginning of the session. Then I've realised that now I'm doing this new sort of thing that I can't keep saying it. So I brought this up. It does need repairing, and also get the pea harvester going. This is going to be a monster session. It is even longer than normal. So whether I do this in one or two sort of sessions is another matter. But yeah, I don't know where we really need a second shed somewhere. But again, we're a bit sort of starved of space because it's all like an open plan where you go from one thing to another. So I am looking forward to using that. I really do like that. And I also brought the plough up. When I say brought, I mean I use the term loosely. We have, of course, got one of my favourite tools, which is store deliveries. So yes, it placed it in rather a strange place, shall we say. But I thought, I am sort of limiting my store deliveries. I've reset it. So I could have covered my tracks, but yeah, I'm not a dishonest person. If I've done something, I do sort of say it. The same as I've always been honest about the fact that I do use like resets, but like off camera. Yeah, it's a game and it's got tools and it's got good uses. But I am sort of limiting myself to my store deliveries that I am I used to sort of say, oh, it's only in the middle of sessions, but it sort of sometimes got to be that it wasn't. So, oh my life, $347. What happened there? Oh my life, that repairing just robbed us of a lot more than I actually thought. I don't think somehow we're going to be able to repair this now. And my workers are... Oh, we're going to have to lend some money, aren't we? Do you know, seriously, yeah, we are. It's you kind of like operating costs, as I always say about when you do things like that. So we need to loan a further 5,000 for just to operate the farm for the day. Right, we do need, of course, oh, the little one, yes. Thinking about it. It's just got narrows. They look like narrows to me. Yeah, I don't know why. Now, this tractor looks really small, but it's quite a powerful tractor. Yeah. Right, so look, while we're here, we ought to have a look and see how much do we need. Some we do. Let's quickly grab some chicken food. Unfortunately, we've got to block the road for a sec, which is a little bit naughty. Okay. Wow. Impressed. Nearly. Because we need this very trailer, don't we? Because the peas, for saying how expensive it was, it's certainly a little bit on the small side for like where it puts the peas out. So yeah, that's not a criticism, it's just an observation. Right, so we do indeed want we. Ooh, okay, that's a little bit of a generous, which of course the H2 Studios was as well. It has very, very generous trigger. So let's just, yeah, it should really have looked. It could have been a car. We've seen how fast they go. That should be about right. So we'll stick... Ooh, 17 tons. We've just robbed half of the money we've just... Do you know? Gordon Bennett, Mr. Smith, you're getting carried away now. Let's go stick this in the silo. So we've got probably about 6 months, at least 6 months supply of chicken food because Mr. Smith went mad. Yeah, we do need this very trailer. Oh, since they've nerfed the steering, I look like I can't steer at all. It's terrible. Yeah, I do agree with my... It is. It's like as if like you played an old arcade game where your steering's like lousy, and it makes you. It's so that you could have to put more money. Where is? What? Okay. Let's do back because like this is a bit annoying. Right, I am gonna say my words like. Ugh. Oh, he is doing it. I can say from this angle it looks like he's not doing anything. Yeah, you can see that the back is still slow. Yeah, I left the back not alone, but it's... oh no, yeah, he's still actually in the middle of the field, and yeah, I can see now. So I've actually been very busy. Gordon Bennett did the field while I was faffing around feeding the chickens. I'm impressed. Right, I think doing the peas is not too bad. I think I should do this myself, but I'm going to let it get to a point where I can. But I'm going to say my words, because all I'm going to do is I'm just going to set the worker going on the bits where yeah, because I think, I don't know, it's a very delicate thing. I did notice myself that as soon as I take over, I start to trample with the wheels. So I think as long as it does take a long time, but I think we'll leave it in the worker's hand, and it'll just take a long time. It's just, I think patience is required for this. But I am going to say my words. I'm going to see you guys and gals on the other side. No, it really is for the workers. Even with the best one in the world, I mean, I had to do this because I wouldn't have got in. But it does, even if you go straight, it catches the front tracks, catch the peas, and you do damage. So it's just not worth it, apart from a situation like this where I would have had to come over to actually get the trailer in. I'm going to have to make sure this does headlands first, I think. It looks, to be honest, the behaviour was better. Apart from that, apart from the fact that it would have got me into a mess because I would have had to trample crop to get to it. It was actually quite good. It was quite quick on the headlands, almost like of all of the things that are wrong with the game at the minute, the Giants has prioritised the AI worker system, which seems highly silly, but yeah. Let's put it back where it likes to be as well, because it won't, now we've broken into the field, we should be alright. But yeah, definitely leave it to the worker. Yeah, it's like the Orstoft as well. It was that taught me you really do need to pay attention to how they actually work, because they have got that super ability that you haven't got. Right, so we've done the... Now, is it actually giving us a bonus while we are actually like this? Is it doing the purple mulched? Now, it's shown mulch before we even mulch, isn't it, really? So that's a bit strange. Although that one isn't. So if you get rid of the weed, it's only shown fertilised, and it isn't shown mulched. So, but it's shown mulched for us doing that. So what I mean is, I'm probably not getting a mulching bonus then, because this is classed as mulching, even though it still does the animation. I don't think it's not worth us doing the mulching for peas. In which case, we may as well go and take the mulcher away, because it's true. I mean, we might be getting a bonus, but it's already says mulched before we even get to doing the mulching. So to me, that suggests that that is a mulching process. And although it does make a change to the animation, there's no guarantee you're actually getting, paying worker wages for like nothing. Is a bit like rolling sometimes. You think, is it worth it? We've got this nice bit of equipment. Now, of course, it would be worth doing on things like, it's obviously not classed as stubble in the truest sense of the word, so stick down there, that should be right. So fantastic. We could set this going with the new, I think the new Dalbo, because it's 8 metre. I would have used the beautiful plough, but we need to repair it, and I also was going to make it into a 9 metre, which would cost us a couple of grand as well. So we'll leave things alone. I might have to inject another 5 grand wages. I might have to. But yeah, it's going to take a lot of cash to repair this. Yeah, so we shall set this going. It shouldn't take too long. I do definitely think we're going to have to inject another 5 grand for wages. Definitely. Let's set that going there. Let's learn our lesson and actually get things done. Right, I'm going to go back into the time lapse because this is going to be a bit of a monster. I do think I'm right, but it's probably going to be a couple of sessions. At least we've broken out the field now, even though at great cost to a bit of a loss. I mean, we're not talking a lot, but I don't like to lose anything. I don't know if funny you as a farmer, you work hard all year long to get your crop to be the best. The last thing you ever want to do is damage that crop. So it looks to me like the pea harvester, because it's not slightly bigger than the tracks. If it was, then you could go forward straight. But as soon as you touch the peas to the left or the right of you, those, like now, I would be damaging crop. Even if I went straight, there's a tiny bit of damage you can see, and I'm watching carefully. So it's just not worth it. It's like it can do that, and it's obviously allowed to do that. We can't even touch it without it damaging it. And the other thing is, I always think it was the ore stuff that taught me this, and I know I go on about it, but it's because it did make such an impact on me realising to what extent the workers can do things that you can't. They're allowed to do waltz all over the field without damaging it at all. With a little sugarcane harvester, it's devastating if you take over. Absolutely devastating. You can really see it. But even the Allstoft, when I thought, oh, like this, it's got a big header, it'll be fine, I'll take over. I couldn't even see that I was damaging on the Allstoft. This you can see. But when I actually had this opportunity, when Giants did a fix that broke everything you needed to reload the map or something like that in FS22, it gave me that unique opportunity because it lost my save. I had to go to a backup save, so therefore I was in exactly the same position as I was the time before. And I don't know why I did it. It wasn't this time for testing. I set the worker going, and I was doing something else. I can't remember what it was, but when I came to it, I looked at the amount. I thought, hang on a minute, I'm sure I've got way more, an awful lot more sugarcane this time. And then the penny dropped, and I thought, oh, okay, so that means that although I thought the Allstoft and I couldn't see anything, I obviously damaged crop quite severely. And I think that was also a little bit like the T440. Yeah, let's go grab the... I think the T440 by Mark... I've forgotten the second name now. Yeah, it is Saturday morning. Yeah, I think that his was the same. I think although you couldn't see it damaging the Mark Thor, that's it. Yeah. Although you couldn't see it damaging crop, it did severely. I'm talking like mega amounts, 60% loss. Now the new one that's been done by someone, not the T440, the let me show you what I'm talking about. I think it's in sugar beets. I think it's classed as a sugar beet harvester. Peas, no, it's not vegetables. That's the Sugar beet. Beet. I think it's near that though, so I've gone past it. Beets. Harvesters. Yeah, the... No, it's not. He's put it into vegetable harvesters then. Yeah, now this roper, that really is a sugar beet harvester by default, this now does all of that. Now, when I did potatoes, if it does destroy them, it's only a little bit. It shouldn't be. It should be perfect with beets and all of the beets, because that's what it really is now. Carrots and that, I never really detected much of a difference between... Why are you, like, still stopping, for heaven's sake? Gordon Bennett. Right, I'm gonna go off the edge of the field though, because I'll undoubtedly get in their way. But yeah, no, it's true. When Mark Thor did that, and he fixed it and he made a change, so I presumed that it was better. And it was only much later on when I thought, I'm not quite sure if that's still a little bit destructive, when it was a field that I'd done before, or that I'd got an inkling that I think that should be more. I thought, well, okay, let's do a second test. I did a second test, and it was just as destructive as it ever was, even though Mark had made a change to it. So I was like, well, I don't understand this. Why is it doing this really destructive 50 to 60% loss? I thought, I just can't afford it. It's a beautiful bit of kit. You glide over the field and it looks like everything's amazing. But when you look at your field, what you would have got 400,000 litres for the year before if a worker did it, all of a sudden you're getting like 180 tonnes, 180,000 litres, and that's too heavy a loss for the ability to glide over the fields and look like it's doing really well, but really it's not. So it has sort of made me very, very particular about these machines. Now we've got that very machine, the Tiger 6S root crops one, and I've got to be honest, I'm very pleased with it. I cannot detect, for the size of the fields, no, you can't use a worker with it. At the minute something's broken on it, it's not quite right. I'm not sure it's supposed to be worker friendly. I might be able to get courseplay, but I don't know. But what I mean is, I've used it myself. Now the thing is with vegetable crops is you can roll over red beets, carrots and parsnips without damaging them. So therefore, I don't know what went wrong with the Mark Thor one, that it was almost like the headers weren't right for that particular, all of the crops. And it may be that the physics of it actually do cause damage, and it did. I mean, there's no denying it. I know it did, because of how much I got, even with the second test, that I thought, oh my life, I really can't afford to be using this. It's just too... So I only left it in. I would have taken it out of the game. I love Mark Thor's work, but I've got to be honest, not when it's like that. And also you sort of trust that it's okay, and it wasn't. It really was not at all. So I don't know, I'm gonna be a bit late, aren't I? Yeah, I am. I'll have to like pay better attention at the bottom of the field and follow it up. I was better at this last time, because with this it makes sense, obviously, with there being a standard worker. I've got to be honest, from a content creator's point of view, I'm not in and out of... because obviously I had started to stop the recording to make the courseplay courses so that you couldn't really see, and there's a lot of chopping and changing. It don't really matter, but from like my perspective as a content creator, if I just like press the B key and my worker goes, because of how good... Yeah, I know, I did try. So you're gonna run out about down here somewhere. Yeah, because of creating content, and it's so convenient to press the B key and then like crack on. The other good thing about the worker system is that if it's the end of a session and you just set it going, it will remember it and it will carry on the next session. Courseplay stops immediately. I'm not saying I mean, courseplay is good. If I want to bail, then I want to use courseplay. Now obviously I don't have a problem with bailing with peas. There's no... You don't need that at all. Completed their task. Oh, that's the... Yeah, of course. Yeah. Right, okay. This also is lethal. I'm going to damage crop. Watch my front crawler. See, straight away I lost a bit at the back. And again. And at the back. Now I've got to pull out slightly. I can't have... I've got no choice. And I'm destroying crop all of the time. Terrible. That's as good as a shallow angle as I can get to get out. And now I've got to slightly turn the back wheel. I think I'm best to go out a long way, shallowly, so I avoid hitting the crop. Now that is terrible. Now don't get me wrong, it's sort of realistic in a way, but I mean not going straight. It actually damages even if you go straight. So, and that is quite sort of terrible, really. And that's, if that is true to life, what I'm trying to say is the header is slightly wider than the wheels, so Giants haven't quite done this right. But as a player now, the only way I can make this work is to literally get the worker to actually always use the pea harvester. Now that, such an expensive bit of kit, is a little bit bad. I've got to pay better attention to that, what I've just done, because I'm losing crop even if I don't catch it right. So yeah, I'm gonna have to like pay better attention and not miss that, because that's, you can't afford to lose crop. But it is poorly designed because the header is actually bigger than the wheels, so it should actually work, but it's not. You can see that clearly. If I pull backwards just straight, I'm damaging crop, and that's not right. That's yeah, that's a fault by Giants, because the header by Oxbow is designed to be slightly bigger than the tracks, so it should. And I mean, you're supposed to have a generous slightly more, not like less. So we'll let it. It can easily got this one and down the nets. We'll catch it on the way up. Right, I'm going to go back into the header. I just wanted to sort of highlight it, because you'd never know how much crop you lose, and it was only the Mark Thor situation and the Orstoft originally that really made me aware that the workers sometimes, even though I'm very impatient, this entire game is about like us doing this crop here that we're doing now. In fact, let's just chase this back to the, because this is going to be quite a full. I remember this one, you always get a full load and then you need to come back again. So seems to be struggling, the Kubota. I don't know what its top speed is. It's 32. It shouldn't be struggling with a little tiny. That's like fully down on my my trigger, and it's like, yeah, it's sort of like struggling, and it's not really exactly what you call a heavy thing, and it's 180 horsepower. It's quite. I mean, it's only a little bit less. This is more powerful than the white was before we upgraded it. It feels less, way less. It sort of glides. That's one thing I will say about it. It's quite nice. Oh, is it? Has the colours taken on my? No, I must have missed this shed. The trigger, though, I have done the trigger. That's definitely more generous. Yeah, I've changed the colour on these, but I don't know that this is my handiwork, because the shed roof is red and the top is white on the one that I've done, so I must have missed this one. Or hey, I don't want to get too technical. Basically, on all of these type of sheds, you can pull from the Giants original modelling, but obviously if you're doing it yourself, the last thing you want to do is make it look exactly. Here we go. This is one I can show you. That's me. I did the pinky colour. I wanted to make it look, yeah, and you see the red there? That's also me, which means it should be white on the top. Oh my life, it takes so long to pop. Yeah, that white. I wanted it to look a little bit aged. So, yeah, that is me. So that one, I've not done the other one properly. What it's doing really is it's pulling from the Giants, the shared folder, to look for what that looks like. And I've got to change that to say, no, I don't want to look at your model, because I've actually changed it, and this is what the colours are now. So, right, this is perfect. We need to catch this on the up now. So I think if we let it go down and then up again, it's going to be like full again. Yeah, so I basically changed the colouring basically of it, just to make it look a little bit older. Yeah, I know, that's why. Wow, I thought I might get away with another. Got a nice little load rate. Which is a good job because I'm going to run out of space in a minute. Wow, it's not quite 4,000 litres either. It's tank, because that first one, it said it got a full tank, and it was like something like 3,700 and something. So anyway, let's go back into that time lapse. It's going to get slow in a minute because it's going to be doing the headlands. So it really rips through the ups and the downs. It's the headlands which it seems to be doing right now, typically. Right. Yeah, I'm going to say my words, but I just really wanted to highlight this. I suppose this is sometimes the bits that I've got to remember to, like, say the highlight of this was where we were focusing on how the workers are really good at doing the fields, whereas you think you're alright, but as we sort of homed in on, as I was looking closely at my wheels, I could see I was damaging the crop. And it's at times like that you realise you really are best sometimes to let the workers do certain jobs because they have that superpower. So it's just not worth you taking over. It's just, I'm personally very impatient. I hate faffing. My uncle, rest his soul, as the saying goes, he was a lovely man, but he was a real faffer. And I just wanted to always take over from him because I'd like to think, oh, you're wasting so much time. Just let me assist, but you can't sort of do that. You've got to just like be patient like that. But yeah, you can see there's a gap now when the worker does it. You can see that those tracks are well away from, so there is a definite thing in the worker's hands that actually, especially on the right side, it looks like it's slightly wrong. And yet there it looked like it was alright. Yeah, but on the main bit of the field, it's a bit bizarre. Look at that bit of the field, whether, yeah, it did. It moved a little bit. It didn't go straight either. Oh, well. Yeah, no, that's exact, because it's right. Actually, if anything, it's under the header is on that one, because he's actually over the edge of the field. So there's not a very good, generous bit of extra on this particular header. Right, anyway, yes, it's going to be a monster if I carry on chatting. Yeah, I'm going to see you guys and gals on the other side. Actually, just thinking about it coming out again before I start too much, but how am I supposed to get out of this? Even on the edge of a field, he's going to fill soon, which means I'd have to pull to the right, which is going to make my rear wheel go into the left. The only way you can do this is at the top of the field. I'm going to have to like stop this at the top of this row so as I don't damage crop, and that's also, they will go across the field, so I need to do that. Look at that, how damaged crop at that point. If he turns left quickly, which he will. Now that's it. That's the only place I've got an opportunity. And I'm still going to watch closely where my track is. I'm going to try to pull out slightly because my rear wheel. Yes, wow, fantastic. did it. But that was, I mean, again, I always find you can't always see. You can plainly see that I did damage the crop before, but what I mean is, with the ore stop, when I was watching me, I couldn't see me damaging the crop, but the next day when I got to do it again and I left the worker to it, it was fairly obvious. I got about an extra third of a field, like an extra third of the amount, and I thought, well, that's seriously scuppered, what I thought was. I don't know how am I going to do this. I really need to reverse, don't I? There's not much room there, so isn't it amazing? You stand as much thing of damaging the crop like by doing things like this as you do the other. It's certainly not an easy thing, is it? Like this kind of consideration. But yeah, it is true. You've got to be really careful. Right, so then, and that's not really me and being careful. Don't really go hand in hand. I'm a terror. I am a bit of a like bull at a gate. Quick, and it doesn't always, as this, sometimes gentility and patience is definitely the way that you've got to do this. So let's set that going in a minute. Fantastic. Let's set him going again, because I am not, definitely not as good at doing this as them. So if I now widely and let them decide where they're going to start, because they undoubtedly will not go where I put them. This is the bit that does annoy me though. How all of a sudden you start going, you were quite in the right place, but they decide that they're going to go down the other end of the field, like you've got all the time in the world. It is a bit annoying, because he would not have started, or she would not have started down there, or the other worker wouldn't. They were going to carry on. Anyway, yeah, just sometimes some of these faffing around bits do really irritate me. Right. Let's get cracking. Yeah, so I'm going to say my words. I'm going to see you guys and gals on the other side. think I'm going to do the last field on another session. I was going to just like push it, but I'd like to do it with Courseplay to do a comparison on how faffy, because it really does faff around, and it does, some things make no sense. This is already one of my favourite cultivators. It's and I think for the design of the wheels, you could actually turn severely with this because of the design of the little tiny whatever you call them, the little tiny cutters. They're sort of circular and they like twist. Really is a very shallow cultivator, but the design of the actual things are such that it's got a bit of a, not everything has always got a deficiency. It's got a slight, yeah, I noticed that I was not quite catching the edge of the fields properly. You really do have to, it just catches the end. There's no additional sort of like sweet spot where you're getting a bit more or anything like that. It really does get what it gets, and there's no more, which again, it's the side pieces of the real, yeah, you'll miss bits without that. I'm not explaining it very well, but yeah, there's a lot of more backing up to do with this, but it also can go around corners very quickly by design, by the actual design of the implement itself. So it's not all bad. That's what I'm saying. Its deficiency is offset by how good it is. Let's not be careful. Yeah, I don't like doing that. Yeah, I don't know that I ever have come foul of doing it, but I don't want to either, because I'm quite aware that it's very easy to do that. So you've done all of that. Wow. Let's get this done then. Oh, there's a little tiny bit of crop there. We'll not damage it. Let's leave that last little bit down there. But this is all... I mean, this is the most powerful tractor we've got. Oh no, is it? No, it has done it yet. So this going uphill is the best. Yeah, I mean, the 180 horsepower one is losing power just taking the up the field with the really severely. It's strange, but the Kubota's horsepower doesn't seem right for it, or unless it really is just like that. Also, we may have narrows on. Whether the tyres do affect traction to that extent, again, physics are at their worst at the beginning of the game. Giants frequently tweak things going through the game, sometimes for the worse. But, I mean, they've already tweaked steering, and it was good, and now it's awful. So that's definitely been done, but like in my personal opinion, for a much worse than it was before. Much worse. I think, apart from the bit you've missed, you're now going to say you've finished, aren't you? Unless, of course, you've been back and done that, which I doubt. Yes, I think we're going to call it, and we're going to do that last one. We're going to do a Courseplay one. Is that a bit there that you've missed as well? I don't think it is. It's just a bit at the bottom of the field. Yeah, that's all good. It's just a bit right down at the bottom of the field that I almost cultivated, but I could see that they'd missed it. I've got to be honest though, if that is the full extent of what they missed, that one little tuft just down here, it really is. I mean, let's be honest, you could easily do that yourself. It's one tiny little tuft, which I don't think even amounted to much at all. So let's get this emptied. I've nearly cultivated all of the fields as we've gone. That's what I say. Once it gets to something like 7 or 8 meters, you can make very light work of almost all fields unless they're monsters. But I really am enjoying that Dalbart's really beautiful design, the pendulum type design. Always found that the best in FS25 as well. One of my favourites was a beautiful 10 meter that was a pendulum type where you do that. That's I'm just literally getting out into the trailer sort of thing. Yeah, so I shall wait for the recap to like go over everything, because it's Yeah, I always did a little bit of a recap at the end, but what I mean is, obviously, if you do it at the beginning for people, I just think it gives you the opportunity to pop in and sort of, if you know I'm going to do this, you can like look at the first 2 minutes and think, no, I'm not. I just your recap's good enough because people are doing it anyway. I don't. Obviously, you hope that people are going to watch your entire session, but they're not. That and I'm looking at statistics. People aren't doing that. So, like, what I mean is, if you know that people aren't anyway, then why don't you? Then you may as well work with people. Is all I'm sort of trying to say now. How much are we doing so far? Let's let it tip completely. Right, no, actually, I do this for the recap. It's true. Yes, so all that remains to be said for this session is thank you very much for watching. Truly do hope you're going to stick with me on this journey. And I'm going to say goodbye for now.